Hello, SF. So LGD wrap up their lineup. They run the SF and Ember and Clockwork.
This
it
is
runs
so similar.
Beautifully for them. The only thing they swapped out was the Ancient Apparition. And a tiny pickup. Okay, so an S4 tiny, a Loda Naga, a Bulldog Jakiro, and then the Chen and Dazzle for EGM and Arke.
This is interesting.
This is a lot of push power. Interested to see, though, if they can keep up with the farm rates of LGD.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. This time around, they have slightly better catch, but it's still pretty bad. Like if you notice, it's only really the tiny.
I don't even know if this is catch. This is just we liquid fire the towers from range. The Chen creeps move forward. If we get in trouble, we Song of the Siren. We get the fuck out.
That's honestly what I was looking at too. You have to have something to catch out the Ember. Because the thing is too, if you look at their lineup, there's nothing that they build. They're not building in a hex like anytime soon on any of these heroes.
Yeah.
So this actually has to kind of be like a flat out tower assault.
Yep.
For
just push yourself to victory.
Yeah.
Like they've done this time and time again, and with Chen, like you don't get as many creeps as you would get with someone like an Enchantress. But what you're able to get is your early level 6 and your early money, so you can get Hand of God as well as the mech, which allows you to sustain these pushes before the Ember Spirit has any kind of counter. And maybe that's another thing we should look for too, is like the timing on Sylar's mech. The timing for LGD to fight back, and if Sylar actually should build into the mech early on. This is where my questions lie.
most of what this will come down to is if Alliance has a really good laning phase or whatever, then they'll be okay. Like they'll be able to get the push going. They can use the Jakiro and the Chen to siege. And it doesn't even look like Alliance are relying on the Naga for late game, right? It really feels like they're willing to push with her in the mid game / early game. So for me personally, I just want to know what can Alliance get accomplished in the laning phase. Can they make this work?
Well, at this point I'm feeling like the balance goes towards Alliance. Primarily because I kind of feel like Admiral Bulldog's going to get a hell of a lot out of that bottom lane. I don't think he can zone out the Clockwork, but at least he can burn through a lot of consumables of Clockwork, so RTK won't have a lot to play with. So you look for that early, maybe even... I don't know if you want to go for an early point up in Dual Breath over the Liquid Fire when you're only going up against someone like a Clockwork, but the fact that he's able to stand in the lane and get those levels up with fast levels up in Liquid Fire, we know what happens. RTK gets forced back, the tower gets pushed, and then space is created. And that's when you can bring the Chen up to join the Dazzle as well as the Naga Siren. RK also has a habit of when they run this dual lane for Alliance, he controls this camp inside the Dire Jungle, or he goes deeper in and he'll go over to this area. And this will make it a little bit more difficult for SF to stay on top of the stacks. Even though he's playing the safe lane, or again, Sylar.
So Naga... They might be able to take advantage of this, though. We saw that it wasn't able to do too much the first time around. And thank God Liquid Fire doesn't cost mana. Otherwise, this would get pretty old pretty quickly. Hopefully, ROTK doesn't make the mistake I did once. I was like, I'm going to buy a wand to try to counter the Liquid Fire. No. That was like the stupidest thing I've ever thought in my life.
Hey. It makes me feel better that you thought that, because I've done that in one of my games until I realized.
It was back when Jakiro was really great, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do against this?
You mean like when Liquid Fire did more damage?
Yeah, I just felt like I couldn't do anything. Oh, Bulldog runs into this twice.
Wait! Whoa! Watching that! Okay, it was worth it to watch Bulldog do that to miss the first blood, but how did Ember Spirit just get first blood by a 1-1 combo from S4?
That is...
That shouldn't happen, right?
No, I don't blame you for missing that.
That should not happen.
No, I think he most likely got tossed back.
Tossed back into the creep wave with that Avalanche and I suppose
maybe he doesn't have a single level of Flame Guard. That's really weird. That is not normal.
I suppose when you think about it, like when the range creep stands back here, and you have maybe on the front lines up here, and you just get that toss back, the Avalanche will hold him there. So S4 gets all the bonus damage he requires from the tower.
It's still surprising.
RK, EGM doesn't have Shallow Grave, so RK will die. This is that aggressive posturing that RK loves to do on the Chen.
Yeah.
To a point where it's over-aggressive.
People are going to be upset about that miss, but it was kind of random.
Just camera turret and we move on.
Yeah. T-course.
You'll forget about it by the end of the game.
No, they won't.
Maybe by the end of 5 minutes. No, they do. Seriously. I guess like goldfish.
Twitch chat never forgets, dude.
Twitch chat just remembers everything. Like, as long as you miss a whole bunch of First Bloods, they'll just like put them all into one big meme.
Okay, I like that.
So I gotta miss out the next
Is
5 First Bloods.
They should make like a site, you know, with,
No,
with YIGI. Like, when did Toby
No, we did this yesterday.
miss First Blood
We
last?
did this yesterday. God, you've become a meme, Blitz.
Right.
I remember your description. Not making new jokes, just recycling old ones.
Yeah. True.
But you did make the joke yourself, so I don't know if that actually then counts as a meme.
I'm sure it does.
Because like meme is steal. S4. Oh no, that's not the real one. What a good time to have an illusion room. With that toss back, RK was waiting to drop his nuke. And that could have actually been another kill. Looks like Admiral Balog on bottom lane. Can't get the dual breath off, can't get the ice path off. An RTK with the help of MMY. Does find a pick off.
This MMY Lion is so deadly.
Siler's actually in a little bit of trouble here. It's a level 2 Riptide. He gets rid of the illusion and DDC's also the neighborhood and Loader. Maybe not the greatest position for him either. But EGM couldn't get him close to help out.
This bottom lane safe lane kill though by the Lion helps so much. It'll scare Alliance too, because they won't 100% know where the Lion's gonna be if he's willing to roam like that, and that means the Chen has to be the punishing hero here.
We haven't really seen the influence of Arcade. Like, we saw his death. But beyond that, like, he tornadoed the top lane to cause problems for LGD's SF. But now maybe he's the one who's copying the extra wind. RTK returns to the bottom lane.
It's gonna be a regen for him here too.
Admiral Bulldog has his level 5. At this point, like, you look for RTK to keep killing off Bulldog. Because if they don't, Bulldog's just gonna... Actually, where's his extra point? Okay, oh no, he's it's
he's
just
level 5. Are you insane?
Yeah. No,
Come on, Toby.
I'm miscounting.
Head in the game.
We got level
5 is not a hard number to count to.
it's not.
You see 3 dots, Toby, and then you see 2 dots.
You know the reason why I thought that? It's because I thought too much about my Jakiro build, and I realized to get the point up in Ice Path, and that's where my extra account just went. Obviously, there's a big blue button,
I see.
which exposes that. But going the extra point up in Dual Breath really just lets you zone out in the lane.
You should tell Bulldog that the next time you see him.
I actually did. Like, I had to talk to him about Jakiro when he was here for the defense. That was one of the things I brought up. I'm like, man, this is so good. Like, you can win a one-on-one with a Doombringer if you do this, and you can.
Toby's Jakiro build, Craig Gasson.
It's awesome. It's amazing. It's better than my Prophet build.
Wow, that was a next level self burn. They see the Lion again bottom, but they still haven't really been able to get as much pressure as they'd like. Ake doesn't feel too comfortable in this area. There's going to be no creeps from here, and mid lane, the combo goes off. Maybe he's not in too much trouble though.
It was just S4. The second he arrived, he was throwing out the bottle charges, just made a complete beeline for the Ember Spirit. It's just that consistency thing. Okay, RK just actually pinged that. Actually, was that I think that was Ember Spirit that pinged that. They're pinging to go for Bulldog after he completely wafted his dual breath. It doesn't matter though. Like, it's such.
This is a big kill. He's not going to see this coming either because of the ward. Like, he has a ward here, which is going to kind of tell him like, oh, I'm safe, but he won't expect both of them coming.
Especially when S4 leaves the mid lane. Like, that creep wave's underneath the tower and nothing was called out here. So Bulldog's going to drop. And LGD go 3 for 1, but LGD are trying to go for Alliance are trying to go for their own play up into Siler as well as DDC.
They've got to get something out of this right now. They haven't been able to do anything.
S4 looks for it, misses the avalanche, and the TP support starts. That's Ember Spirit coming in first. They're going to have extra support as well, so say hello to your Ember. Sleight of Fist, maybe copying a lot of damage. And RK actually going to nuke him down. They're keeping with the Hadoukens on the back lines from the status, but S4 tossing away the clockwork, so finally he can freely move away from the battery assault. And the shallow grave from EGM, keeping S4 alive, and Hadouken again. RTK running away with Silent next to him, but the ensnare going to hold him there. There's no clap, but yep, there's your toss. The melee creep forward. DDC was hoping for a kill of his own, but this RK army really causing, like, I don't want to say a cog in the works when you got a clockwork on LGD's lineup, but there's definitely some problems for LGD.
They really wanted to be able to kill the SF though, not the clockwork. Still, not a bad exchange for Alliance. They don't lose anything out of it, which is important. S4 kept his composure, tosses left and right, make sure that the clockwork can't get on top of him. That was well played by him.
It also bought space for Bulldog to play a little bit of catch-up Dota. Like, he's back up to 28 CS. His net worth isn't terrific, but he's got that sweet level 7 for the Jakiro.
Yeah. He is ahead of the clockwork. And he wasn't necessary for that fight, so he's going to pick up some levels too.
Maybe. Gonna try and combine here with MMY. The Avalanche, however, making it a little bit more difficult for MMY to go for the combo, and that means a Spirit committal, but S4, he has the 1 charges. He'll end up surviving, and even EGM TP's in, and they bottle him up to then give 3 extra bottle charges over to S4.
It's okay though, the Chen just jungling up. He was necessary to that aggression at top, by the way. Like, without him there, I doubt they're able to dive as much as they did.
Is RTK gonna... Yeah, he's battery assaulting. Bulldog's just gonna play the tower. With the Liquid Fire, if he can get the dual breath as well, he actually missed the dual breath on RTK. I'm not so certain about that. Also want to see a TP scroll over on EGM. Like, he's up on the top lane at the moment, but he's walking around with an urn, and he needs to be there when the attacks come in from LGD.
Doesn't have a TP, or he doesn't have boots money though.
True.
It's partially the issue.
But he also sacrificed his boots to pick up the early urn.
Yeah. Tiny needs to get his Blink Dagger too. There's a lot of different items that need to fly in from Alliance. That early urn pickup can pay off. Does give you a lot of HP. Good mana regen too.
Oh, hello. Could have always looked for those S4 combos. The tossing of the Centaur to go into the stomp, if it wasn't for the Syrian chains, that should have connected.
ROTK is looking for it. He has the angle from the top. Threatening, but doesn't look like he wants to go in. Not like this anyways.
He has the vision from the ward too. Doesn't see the movement exactly of Arke. Bulldog's actually backing out. Like, it's the long walk home.
He is so afraid.
Well, I'm wondering if it's afraid or if he's just thinking that
Wait,
he now groups up to push on the top lane as opposed to just TPing home.
He DC or something? Why is he...
Why is he walking?
He has full everything.
They would pause.
Huh.
They would pause if he DC'd.
That was weird though. He had full everything.
Yeah. Well, the courier was a little bit busy. He
Yeah,
doesn't
but he only
buy
had
anything
one.
major. Yeah. What was that move for?
Radiant's middle tower
Curious.
is under attack.
Gotta ask him about that one.
Well, Alliance is now ready to push out the top lane. Bulldog's walking that way. There's no response to it. There's no rebuttal. LGD also don't know where Bulldog is. If they get that aggressive ward down, this is like these LGD wards like are so good. They get so much vision entering into the Radiant jungle that they'll know before they'll know exactly when Alliance come in to try and defend.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
For now, they're not even going to do that. Like, Alliance are over inside the Dire jungle. They'll take out the tier 1 tower, but it's a full trade-off. But Jakiro here, like, the trade will go the way of Alliance.
They have Jakiro Chen, and Chen has 3 creeps. They're pretty decent creeps too. I think that they should keep pushing.
Radiant's bottom tower
Ake is looking for the angle. It's not going to be behind DDC. DDC is going to plant the ward. They know that Ake's there. Maybe might rotate in. Doesn't have Flame Guard up in a second, but they're going to keep going on top. Bulldog, he's got 4 levels of the Liquid Fire. It's doing enough damage right now. EGM's healing up the creep wave, and Loda's using the illusions to drag things back.
Chen Army's being pulled into the mid lane. S4, they're going to smoke it, instantly gets popped, so MMY, they know where he is. Well, they should know where he is, down the tree line. MMY is walking away, they got a TP. Another one coming in, but it's the mid lane initiation, or maybe with the Chen Yuka, Sleight of Fist quickly. He gets punched once, but it's not enough damage to get the kill. The top tower still goes the way of Loda. And now they're going to rotate to the mid. We said this was a push lineup, and that's exactly what's happening now from Alliance.
They're not going to be happy about that, though. They wanted the kill on the Ember above everything, but the line was a free kill, too. And you notice that Bulldog was pinging like crazy. Like, as he was walking, he knew the exact position of where the line was. And they didn't end up getting anything there. That lion kill would have been pretty huge, too. He's level 6. He's got 1,400 gold. That lead up to the Blink Dagger almost always just seems to happen for MMY. If you could have stopped that.
Oh, that blink from S4. He's got vision because... Oh no! S4 misses the avalanche. That would have been a guaranteed kill on DDC. The ice path buying the space for S4 to get back out again. He should not shatter from this, but MMY is there with the finger of death, ensuring the kill on the Tiny, and now Loda has to stop the action. They can group around him. He'll TP out. The Chen army also wants to escape. We've got a quick pause coming out from Dazzle. EGM just stopping it as the mouse will have a couple of problems.
Yeah, a mech is coming out soon for Alliance, though. If they could have kept S4 alive, that should have just been a quick pick-off for him.
Really should
And
have.
that was the AA ult that was expended on him, too. If he doesn't get hit by that, I think he can just get healed or graved, and he'd be fine.
Now all that remains of S4 is a pile of rubble.
That was unfortunate. They really needed that kill. That kind of screws with their plans a little bit. Because if they get that kill, then they can probably do like half damage to the tower at least.
Looks like they're going to be good to go again. So, with the failure of that push, the timing of Alliance's attack being just delayed up a little bit. But Arcade's now making the most out of this. Like, take the time to farm up what's going to be the rest of his mech. The golden experience advantage isn't really that big of a difference. Yeah, like Alliance have an extra 2 towers on LGD.
Radiant's middle
But
tower
LGD's
is under
been
attack.
farming individually more, so they have better XP.
Yep. Ember Spirit straight down the bottom lane. Loda doesn't want to bar of this. He's still also looking at that Radiance timing. Sitting at 2200 gold on him. At least it's a lot nicer for Loda this game. Like, the catch out's going to come from MMY. He's done it again. Look at his money. He's got his Blink Dagger once again. Tranquils directly into Blink. Like, how he finds this catch is just crazy.
He gets kills and he just doesn't die. He rotates around the map really smartly. But luckily for Alliance, his Finger of Death is still on cooldown. Another 80 seconds. Anytime he expends it, it should be a kill. But maybe he's just laying down Fire Remnants. Doesn't feel too afraid because, like we talked about, Alliance, when he has Flame Guard up, Alliance does not have a way to kill him, I think.
Like, if they get Avalanche, Toss, plus the nukes from Chen...
And then the Jakiro, it'd be...
Yeah, they have to commit a lot.
It's a perfect storm for them to be able to do that. Once he gets some HP, he's fine.
And if you commit that much to kill off, maybe the rest of LGD can just jump in. Like, that Blade Mail is almost done for ROTK. So then they turn around, it's like, well, you can't burn him with anything, you can't attack him with anything. Well, Admiral Bulldog, the hook shot comes in, catches EGM, and well, they should be able to shatter him out. Just that battery assault's doing the work. With the dual breath, RTK, he really wants this kill with the Shallow Grave. Yeah, we go, there's finally the shatter. But you just
Radiant's
traded your
bottom
clockwork
tower is
for a
under
Dazzle.
attack.
And that also delays that Blade Mail of his, so the intimidation factor of the clockwork, just a little bit less for now.
Yeah, ROTK needed to be slowed down. You don't want him to be able to pick up the Blade Mail before Bulldog gets his Force Staff or anything like that. And things are already kind of weird for S4, just because if he jumps in and gets cogged, he needs a way to get out, and the Force Staff is going to be it.
Well, the Force Staff is now fully done. With the S4 build, like, it's been fairly combat heavy from Alliance, but you are also looking at a push lineup. So do you try and build in for something more like the drums, or do you save up for the full Aghanim Scepter on the Tiny?
With this kind of build, I think Shadowblade or Ags is okay. Shadowblade if you just want the max mobility that you can possibly get to pick off support heroes and make them poor.
But to go both Shadowblade as well as the Blink Dagger?
Yeah, it's ownage, man. Just walk around, blow people up next to left and right.
Looks like Alliance are going to be trying to do that soon.
It's the godlike pub builds. Maybe he's in the jungle, scouting things out. Runs into 2 illusions, not going to do too much here.
It's actually really helpful for Alliance that they saw this. S4's waiting. Like, I think they understand the same thing you said. Like, you're going to need to commit a hell of a lot to kill him while that Flame Guard is up, but they've got it. Grouping a lot of heroes around it. Now S4 can go for more. They don't have the vision, however. And the Blink Dagger's on cooldown for 1 more second.
1
RTK,
second.
he's got a hook shot. And now, well, with the cogs, S4, he doesn't have a combo. He can bottle charge up and get that combo. Currently holding on to those charges, in fact. As MMY makes a break for the tree line. He's still got his Blink Dagger available, and now Avalanche, the toss of Clockwork, not going to throw him back. In fact, S4 a little bit too deep.
The double ice path!
The ice path is perfect. Combine it with the Dual Breath and the Macro Pie. RTK, now Mega's done some work. The Ice Blast will probably do a little bit more, however, as it hits the back line of Alliance and chills most of them. But Tiny, he finds the kill on the Clockwork and the Ice Path. Maybe not the perfect synergy. Loda turns it off straight away, but Sylar hit up by that Liquid Fire. The Dual Breath a little bit too short from the rest of LGD's line for Sylar. Lets the Requiem Souls go, and S4, he does a hopeful TP out, but now maybe another Ice Path control from Bulldog, but it won't stop maybe from killing EGM, or will it? He could try and TP out here. Maybe he's already used his Searing Chains, but EGM will die in the tree line. As Alliance, well, they may even lose, well, they lose one of the Centaurs. Actually, they'll end up losing two before that Chen pullback can happen. A little bit deep underneath the tier 1 tower.
It wasn't just that. Their escape mechanism was kind of... They misplayed around it. Like, Lodo's like, oh, do I have to sleep here? He sleeps for like half a second. They had the opportunity to just get like 1 or 2 kills and get out, but that went way too awkward. Like, once the SF TP'd in with the mech, I think that was their cue to get out. That was a little bit way too much of an overextension.
The sleep would have made a lot more sense if Admiral Bulldog didn't hit such a good Ice Path.
Yeah.
But it's like, you hit the Ice Path, then you turn the song off, and then the Ice Path is melted by that point.
Just some miscommunication. A lot of times what ends up happening there is that you time things, and you see an opportunity, you just go for it. You don't really queue things up with your team, so it just looks a little bit more awkward than it should.
If you could plan out your fights a lot more carefully, but you're right, when things get a little bit scrambly, a little bit more of a skirmish than like a proper execution. Still, that's going to hurt Alliance a bit. They did have an advantage, about 2.5k, but now LGD, whoops, RTK, that's a creep. Not a Bulldog. Let's get rid of this creep wave as quick as they possibly can. Interesting spirit position from Maybe. Like, he puts it up on the hillside, up next to... Wait, okay. He started his TP and ends up cancelling it. He's still got the defensive spirit, but starts his attack on an EGM. Shallow Grave, nice and early. This Maybe just getting a little aggressive, and EGM's just sent home.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It should be a free mid-tier 1 tower, though, for LGD and further control. And this is looking pretty good for LGD so far. Their Ember's starting to get a lot of farm. The Tiny is a decent amount. The Radiance is about to come out on Naga, though, and this is probably the biggest game-changing item for Alliance. Like, once he gets the Radiance, that's when the real game starts. If LGD can deal with that at that point, then they're in a really good position.
Because then it's the split push. Then it's the game where you can't fight as 5 heroes all the time.
Yeah, I just like the option that it gives you, because they've shown that they can use the Naga to push with them and use the Radiance like as the primary damage dealer, so that you can rip up their backlines. But you can also go back to the Alliance style of where S4 can build something like the Aghanims and then get the AC, go for the split push himself, play the mobility game. Bulldog can do the same. He is a Jakiro. The only bad thing about Jakiro, I think, when it comes to tower pushing, is he's better at tower sieging.
Yeah, you're right. Well, then again, the push does still work, because you have the slow, right? Like,
yeah.
the attack slow of 50 onto the tower, so your creep wave stays alive a lot longer. Yeah, it's not burst like the swing of a cleave of a tiny Aghanim Scepter, but still. LGD. Okay. He's kind of hoping that Ember Spirit comes back down here. He's not going to do it, however. They'll clap, they'll blast, they'll take out the creep wave. And now the Naga Radiance is online for Loda. And this is going to just propel his farm forward, like, so much further as well. So Liquid Fire to take out the tower. RTK looking for a target. Looking for these undead minions to also move off to the side, but they're moving as a full pack. And with the Naga Illusions being sent forward too, now it's a lot more difficult. It's also very difficult. Where is this Lion? Like, MMY is taking it out. I wanted to see when his Blink Dagger comes off cooldown. Because his Illusion's just sitting up there next to him, so he can't do it. Ice Path comes forward. Sylar with a big lets Requiem go, but most of Alliance already moved back by that point with a Blink Fall by MMY, catching Bulldog and S4. Loda will reset the fight. And do they go for more? S4's doesn't have his combo. He's only got the toss, not the Avalanche with it. And maybe just Sleight of Fist try and get out. Now they go for the Avalanche. RTK with a Blade Mail. The toss will still end up killing him. And Alliance,
they hold. They were actually able to survive throughout that fight. This is probably going to mean the bottom tier 2 as well for that.
Dire's
It
bottom
was a good
tower is
reset.
under
Like this
attack.
time, the Song of the Siren actually had a purpose.
Structures are
Yeah,
fortified.
and without too much farm, they can hold this.
Oh.
They get... Oh, that would have been so sick.
It maybe did the same thing previously. That searing chains to stop the Centaur stomp. And now Alliance, like, they realize that maybe it's back time. Yeah, they're pulling... Okay, Arke. Longest pull I've ever seen.
For the shortest distance. Just gets him slightly in front of him.
I don't know if it was fully intended from him or not. Either way, the tier 2
Dire's
tower, he might have
middle
actually...
tower
Like,
is under attack.
they're separate abilities, right? Because he might have meant to send a hero back. Anyway.
Arcane
S4's got
Rune?
a lot of money. He's got
Yeah.
a crap ton of money. 2,400 gold.
That's not that much.
It's big when I think he's only 2,000 gold away from having an Aghanims.
Okay.
Like that's where my mind always sits. Like, look at the difference. He's just waiting for one person to come out of position. RTK is the one coming over. He'll need a little bit more than he's got to kill RTK, however.
Boom! There it goes.
The Lions just start their push. Loader's almost at his BTs. And now S4 finally sees a target. It's only going to be Sala, however, so he avalanche tosses, then blinks away. Takes half of the creep wave and just retreats. And they're ready to smoke up again if Alliance want to. Arke is just holding on to one for the moment.
I think when they go for that next, it'll be the Roshan. Or like the maneuver around it. The next smoke matters so much. Because they need to... eventually you do need to slow down the Emperor's farm. Once he gets a few items, it becomes significantly harder to deal with this lineup. Especially when you've got all these Chen creeps, these Naga illusions. Going for the straight up push at that point feels a lot more difficult.
You just think about how much more damage you give to maybe by doing such a thing. He's going to Searing Chains and... Oh, how many of those creeps did he get? He ended up taking out 2. But with the Battle Fury up for maybe, like, with all those Naga illusions and the chain creeps, even if you have, like, skeleton minions down, it's, yeah. The damage that could be impacted into Alliance.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. The Tiny almost has his Aghanim Scepter though, and that's going to be a pretty big beef up in damage. And Loda completes the travels, further helping his mobility and his ability to farm a little bit more.
Mhm.
If we take a look at the net worth though, the Alliance cores are behind. Although the Jakiro has a fair bit right now. He's going to get the Yule Scepter next. Pretty good setup item on the Ember Spirit. It also instantly removes his Flame Guard.
The only issue is if you got a Spirit down, like, maybe can get out of that Ice Path. It's not an instant stun when he hits the ground. Oh, S4, the timing. Maybe he has the jump, so S4 will just mop up the creep wave. And maybe will TP himself away to safety. You give S4 one more wave, and well, in fact it's just 50 gold. Camp, no camps. Loda's taken everything from S4. But now he has the Aghanim Scepter. Still needs the attack speed to go with it, however. That's not like the only problem with the Tani, right?
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Like
attack.
now he's got so much damage, even the toss buff up.
3,200 gold on him. This is the precise position you want to be in if you're S4. You can control a lot of the game right now, but the Battle Fury is complete on the Ember. That's the scary item for Alliance. You knew it was coming eventually, though.
Radiant's top
This is
tower
maybe
under
even a little
attack.
bit delayed.
I'm wondering if Alliance then have to go for something slightly different. Like if you don't pick off the Ember beforehand, like just
Radiant's
continue
top
split
tower
push.
is under attack.
There's a lot of pick-off potential, though, from LGD, because they have the Blink Dagger on the line and the Clockwork.
Yeah, but if they group up and you send Naga illusions in with a Chen army and your heroes are anywhere near that, then you're just going to give the Ember Spirit such huge amounts of damage because of that Battle Fury.
SF has a Yasha now. Maybe he decides to go for Manta next. Just so he can split out, dodge some stuff.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They are smoked up, though, Alliance. S4's going to run into the SF, but he's going to get
everyone's already
immediately
there.
gone on.
They got to get him out of here right now. S4, the shallow grave. Chen, he's trying to send him back in time by the
almost
looks of it.
100%
And
dead.
RTK, oh, no, they burn. They take a 1-for-1 trade-off. Sylar controlled up by the ensnare. from both the Troll Trapper as well as now Loader. But maybe back to the front lines. The Song of the Siren's out. Again, not the perfect synergy with Ice Path as well, Song of the Siren. But Loader will hang around and Arcade will send him back. I was expecting him to use that over on S4.
And they're going to snipe some more creeps here. S4, that was such a weird situation for him because he runs in, the smoke breaks, but they still want to get into that fight. But by the time he reacts, the line is right there, prepped up, and the Clockwork did such a good job. Like, they dropped everything on him instantly because they know that he's their primary damage dealer right now.
Yep. I felt like Alliance, even with that initiation from LGD, like if RK sent him back straight away, the Shallow Grave came in from EGM thinking that maybe S4 can buy a little bit of space and get out of there, but like losing S4, there's still no momentum push from LGD after that kill. Like they find more farm, and yes, their experience is definitely moving their way when they bring down the big hero of Alliance. But Alliance is still turning this into like a late game match. Like, this won't be over quick.
No, they can make this game go on for quite a while, especially with the Naga. They do have a mech of their own, and Shadow Fiend is pretty good at pushing the tempo. But the next Roshan... Alliance can contest Roshans because they've got the Naga sleep. I don't know. This is a tricky situation for both teams. Now they've got the gem on the Naga too. I believe that was picked up by EGM. Doesn't really need items anymore.
Yeah, it belongs to EGM.
Yeah, so if you deward like crazy, then you won't have to rely so much on these smokes. Chen buys another one. Is that their last smoke?
Let me have a look.
Yeah,
Gonna watch the top lane first though, maybe. Avalanche toss, he's still got himself a spirit to jump out to. And there's
so
no way to
kill
follow.
him.
So that is actually Alliance's last smoke.
Yeah. So buying the gem here makes a lot of sense for me. You need some way to get map control, and if you're out of smokes, this is the other way to do it.
Wow, that's such a long time though. 11 minutes until they can buy a new one. LGD, well, Silo was making the move for Roshan, but Loader's illusion's already there. It's not that hard to send one when he's sitting inside of his own jungle camp so close. And S4's making the most out of this split push. Pushing in the top lane, making it so LGD always have to be looking behind themselves. A little bit different to the way Bulldog can play it, because obviously he can add a lot more pressure and then just TP out. Whereas S4 doesn't have any of these tier 1 towers anymore, and his TP scrolls on cooldown. So if Roshan does start, there's no Coddle to drag him into the fight. He has to come a little bit more preemptively. Loader, however, he's fine to do it. BT up and just control the jungle. This is Loader's classic. Like, if you look back into replays 3 years ago, with Loader's Naga Siren, like, all you do is you take out the early tier 1 tower. Whoop! Hello. Yep, that didn't work. If he would basically take out the tier 1 tower in the top lane and then just put aggressive wards in the dire jungle and control it. That's all he would do. And they would just farm, push, Someone came to him, he'd back up a little bit, and then just pressure another lane. And then go back to doing exactly the same thing again.
Clockwork almost has the 4-step. I believe Roshan should be the next territory fought over by both teams. It's LGD, they would really want it. If they could get it on their SF or their Ember. Probably their SF, actually. I don't see a way their Ember can die. He's almost always just slide dodging plus spiriting away.
So just win the farm battle then. Win the farm battle and push a lane. Because there's still no aggressive wards down for Alliance. They rely primarily on the illusions for vision at the moment. That SF Manta is done. Like, this is the most aggressive observer ward they've got. Next to this one.
Yeah. 2200 gold. Onto maybe now. And any more items coming out soon? No, it doesn't look like it. There's going to be a bit of a pause now for items when it comes for Alliance, but they're going to start the Roshan. They've got the medallion.
LG Smoking coming down. RTK
going to
go.
They got to get him out here
S4.
right now before the Ice Blast.
Is he going to get out in time? Well, there's the hit. Lion's already found the kill. The Ice Path will come down, but RTK still causing problems for EGM. Maybe he's up on the hillside, but there's no reason to stay around. Loader's going to be sent back to base, and he will survive. The Chen army will be forfeit. But you only lost S4, but actually then again, you lost Roshan as well, didn't you?
That is the biggest give of all, with the fact that they're going to give up this Roche. They just have to be able to keep S4 alive or be in better position, or he has to be in better position to get 4-staffed out. Because what ends up happening is they just collapse everything on him at once. And he can't survive that Ice Blast. Grave or no Grave. Doesn't even matter at that point. The mech doesn't do anything for him. Maybe they need a Glimmer Cape or something like that, because he's just getting blown up as soon as he initiates in. Or they need to get him a BKB. But every single time he's gone in, just gets blown up right after. I think that might prompt the BKB.
And again, he keeps dying before the BKB can be used. Like, if Lion does get that Hex off, that's not going to work. Top lane, they're having a look, and maybe we'll see. Yep, Spirit's away. Well, just got no way to control him, however. The tower attack gives him a little of an indication, but not much more of one. Sylar might be their biggest pick off here if they can get some support over. Well, just going to steal the regeneration rune from him. This is another smoke move, it is. So ROTK as well as MMY and DDC group up together.
This is a rough situation right now for Alliance. Like, they've lost their Tiny in 3 consecutive fights. They're not really making headway, and the Ember Spirit is finally starting to pick up some heavy damage dealing items. I guess your Naga can drag you into the late game, but the Ember, oh, this hero.
They found an opening. They found EGM. Finger of Death available that will be committed to kill off EGM.
That's fine, because I think this is going to be LGD's chance to just take down all the tier 2s now and put pressure, but this might just open up some spots on the map for the Tiny to go for the split push and for the Naga to do the same. She's in a bit more precarious of a position. She's going to pop the regen rune, but Tiny's going to just circle around. It does look like he's going to go for the BKB. That is the item he needs right now. I think 3 times in a row is the charm. That's when you say, okay, I can't go for the Assault Curse anymore.
I think ROTK come down towards him with the rocket. S4 very quickly blinks away. Okay, so ROTK was feeling confident enough to try and go for a kill. And Admiral Bulldog, he loves doing this. He was doing this all through the group stage game too. Second macro prize off cooldown. If he feels the creep wave is going to push a little bit too quickly, just macro prize it. The cooldown's under a minute, so you don't really waste that much.
Yeah, why not? It's not a game-changing ability.
No. And with the Force Staff and the Yule Scepter on him, he's got more than enough mana regeneration. If like, really, what mana does the Jakiro use?
Yeah, if you were like an Earthshaker that was doing that, I'd be like, whoa, but macro pyre's nothing.
No. There's that BKB done for Alliance. So if the next fight goes the way of LGD, their momentum's really going to skyrocket. Like, they've already got 8.5k experience advantage over Alliance. The gold, not so much. I'm still, like, even if they do take a Rax, I'm still not certain that I want to just say, like, LGD have this game. Primarily because, like, we understand what Alliance can do with split push. And you can also understand, if you win a team fight, how quickly that Tiny is capable of counter pushing you. Yeah. If he survives, of course.
And the BKB, we haven't seen what S4 can do when he actually stays alive for longer than 3 seconds into the fight. Like, this item could change everything for them. They have a Chen and a Dazzle, though. These 2 supports, you would much rather have an AA and a Lion, I feel, in the late game. The control factor plus the AA blast just continues to get better in the late game. Whereas the Dazzle, I mean, the Grave just isn't really doing much. And on top of that, the Chen, he's going to start to find a peak too.
Until RK is able to get something like his Aghanim's upgrade and have that consistent heal, then Alliance would have like some good heal defending every time that LGD push high ground.
I mean, but speaking of heal and Aghanim's, DDC is about to pick up his. This is going to just make it so much more crushing for Alliance. But they still have a Naga. Their Tiny is pretty massive, and they still have ways into this game. It's not even like they're behind by very much, actually. We're making it talk as if it's going to be a comeback if they win, but they're still in a really decent position. It's just that I kind of would prefer LGDs.
LGD's just been taking the fights in the recent times.
Yeah.
So the mentality moves towards the fact that they have the momentum, at least mindset-wise, in this game.
Oh. ROTK, he's looking for the angle. He's going to get it. He's got 2-man cogs, but they both have Force Staffs.
If they need to as well, they had the Yule Scepter to take ROTK out, but they get away, which is more important. Okay, if you're loaded right now, do you want to go for the Octarine? Do you want to try and reduce these cooldown timers?
All that thought is, all the creeps are going to get sniped. Nope, they get mech'd up.
Only lose one.
I personally like it just because I think it makes your illusions really tanky, and it helps you deal with your mana problem and the cooldowns. You have so many different cooldowns on Dota. But it does feel like he likes the heart better. I think I've seen him go for the heart in consecutive games.
He went for the heart in the last Naga game he played, actually in this series as well. Okay, yeah, Sarge's getting pushed back. But in that game, they were already ahead, and he was kind of using himself as a frontliner and just exploiting the fact that they were ahead. in this game, if split push is your thing, like Octarine sounds like it's just going to be a better choice.
This bottom. Maybe
That
he
actually
is
makes the way
here.
out the Aegis.
He's got a DD rune too. She's gonna clear the creep wave.
547 crits. Not shabby at all.
He has a DD rune.
Yeah.
It's inflated.
So they got a little bit longer to wait for Roshan.
Oh,
Alliance
BKB.
really need to get rid of these wards.
BKB's finished onto maybe.
Are they gonna? Yeah, they have to look at the cliffside. Like LGD keep planting this ward. Like these two cliffsides seem to be LGD's like most popular positions for wards. They give fantastic vision, of course, but just not seeing Alliance dewarding them. And now, because LGD had that vision, they smoke up, they move from behind. They don't have the vision over an arcade. It is still limited because we are in nighttime. So as Alliance hug the tree line on the side, LGD don't see their jump in target.
Yeah.
Radiant's
Butterfly
bottom
going to come out
tower
soon
is under
on
attack.
Sylar. This is going to be a really good high ground advantage for them as they're finally going to start to push in, but S4 is going to say, no, screw that. I'm going to go for the split push. Make your decision. Will you continue to go or will I take your own tower?
Radiant's middle
Well, with the
tower
Chen army
has
coming up
fallen.
here, he's got the help to push for that tier 3 tower, and the decision is to fall back.
You can't get into a base race scenario with Alliance's heroes, I think. It'd be way too risky.
Or with Alliance in general. You want to have a team which has got the most amount of experience making those decisions. This is it.
38 minutes into the game, but it feels like we have slowed down a little bit in tempo. Alliance is willing to just kind of split the map constantly and run them around, and LGD, the one downside is they might just get run ragged and start to slip up and make mistakes.
Whoops. S4 just managed to grab the ancient apparition.
Okay, very casual kill.
Bulldog. Potentially you can blink forward and try and go for this Yule Scepter. But he misses the target over on maybe, and now the defensive spirit is placed.
Yeah, maybe also as a BKB. The likelihood of him getting that kill, if he overcommits for it, isn't very high.
Still burning the BKB charge would have been a nice thing to do.
I don't know if he could have done that though, just by himself. Even with Loda there, I'm not sure they have the damage. You need burst damage against the Ember, which is why Tiny's combo is okay when his Flame Guard's down, but...
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but Lotus' decision was to go for the heart.
Yeah, that's what... It just seems like it's
It's this
something he
thing.
prefers, yeah.
Over the Octarine. It's weird though, because Octarine also gives him a lot more survivability. Okay, so
Radiant's top tower is
Butterfly
under
has now
attack.
arrived in for the SF. He still doesn't have a Monkey King bar, but obviously the BKB will shirk off most of the evasion.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
He'll be okay with that one.
These lanes just getting pressured so hard. I agree with you with the fact that like the Chen falls off, but when he has an army that can just keep doing this, like maybe we'll come back to try and take it out. Okay, now he's going to rebuild his army, which is the problem.
You were saying?
That could have been avoided. That could have been
Radiant's
avoided
top
by
tower
Arcade just
is
pulling
under
his army
attack.
back a little bit earlier.
I like how you're trying to tell me I was wrong, Toby. You're like, this army, you know, it's really strong. Look at it go for the split push, and then it just gets blown up.
Is under attack.
It's very good, very good.
Split push in small amounts. I never try and say you're wrong.
I'm
I'm trying to say
completely-
there's multiple
I'm just being a
points.
dick.
You are.
I'm messing with you completely.
I am told, though. I tell you, you're wrong too many times.
No, I don't care at all. Part of Dota is there's no way that I'm right about everything. No way, not even close.
You gotta debate it. That's how you learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta devil's advocate it, you know? Figure some stuff out.
Interested to see what Bulldog's gonna go for. You talked about the Scythe of Vice very early on in this game, and it appears that's what he is going for.
It is heading towards a phase of the game where it has gone long enough that I think it's a good pickup. I was just worried because nobody's going to pick it up as like their second item or anything like that, but somebody has to get it if they want any chance at killing maybe. You can't just say, oh, we're going to ignore the Ember this entire game and try to kill everybody else and win.
Well, because Bulldog got the Blink Dagger, it becomes a lot more of an efficient item.
Yeah, exactly. Blink Hex is one of the strongest combos in the game.
LGD is going to take Roshan. Nothing Alliance is going to do about it. They waited out the last Aegis timing, primarily because they just kept the split push going. And they might have to do the same this time around. It's only the Aegis, not the cheese as well. For a 41-minute Roshan, that's actually quite rare for this tournament so far. But Alliance, they're very heavily grouped up on this top lane. It's a big creep wave, and the Ember Spirit will love that.
It'll just continue to reset over and over again.
Dire's top tower
Alliance
is
doesn't
under
want
attack.
to head-on engage unless they
Dire's
absolutely have
structures
to.
are fortified.
But when do they actually have to? They can keep this game going for quite some time. As long as nobody gets picked off. They've got enough force staffs and disengages with the Naga sleep.
Homing in.
Things are awkward, but here we go.
Yeah, there's the BKB up from Sile. They just toss him back, however, making him fairly useless. That Ice Blast Aghanim's upgrade is flying in. It's only going to hit on the two supports, EGM as well as Arcade. And with such a creep wave as well as the Chen army, it made it very difficult for LGD to keep the chase up. And Alliance, now they just back out. The creep wave was there. They forced the fortification out. Don't know what they can really get from it in the time while it's down, but just try and make the most out of it. And Silas' BKB charge is now down to 7 seconds.
Everyone's just trying to reset the fight on Alliance. Like, that was not an opportunity for them to go for the high ground or anything like that. Even if they're grouped up with multiple targets.
Got a question mark on Loda.
What's up?
He could buy the entire heart right now, but is not going to. His surplus is 4.2k. So he's almost got enough money he can buy up the heart and have... Okay, Bulldog. Salah burns quite heavily, but he's got the Aegis Timor, so doesn't really care. But yeah, he could buy the hook the heart and still have buyback. But right now it's just the Ice Blast. RTK copying a lot of damage from Arcade. That 4-star didn't get him down the hill. And Silent, with all the tower attacks he did take, they'll trigger the mech. There's no reason to burn that mech so early on, but Loda's still not coming back.
Yeah, they know that the Tiny's back too, but
Dire's bottom
again,
tower is
I don't
under
know if
attack.
this is enough for LGD to say, okay, we can go for this. Maybe the play is just to send Maybe back and then have him
MMY's
TP
come back.
and use the Force, or use the Spirits.
With MMY coming back, like, they don't have that option anymore. An Alliance move out. And LGD are so scared about this base race potential.
They should be. It's incredibly worrying for them.
Okay, is Loda now going to finally buy his heart? We get the Assault Cuirass for the Tiny. And Loda's still got 6.6k gold.
Stacking up that money, but should be buying something pretty soon. It's inefficient at that point not to get something.
Yep.
Alright, Bulldog does have the Hex now. Or just about after he farms this creep wave out. Misses the dual breath on the creeps, but it doesn't matter. Getting it is getting it.
So many major items arriving for Alliance. Looks like MMY's, like with this BKB. Actually, is BKB the way to go? The only reason why I'm wondering is, like, is it worth for MMY to go the full greed and get something like an Aghanim Scepter for the Lion Finger?
I like Eggs. I think it's interesting here.
Alright, Loda changed his mind. He went for the Octarine. That's why he was saving the extra money.
Okay, thank God. I was like, there's no reason for him not to go for the Octarine here.
It's just because he had the heart recipe, which posed the question. But because he had the recipe, like, calculations-wise, yeah, he had enough to pick up the heart, but he didn't have the Octarine as well as buyback at that point. In fact, right now he's still short by 4 gold, but that's only 4 gold.
There's no split push going right now for Alliance. This is the best possible chance.
Wow,
The
the
toss!
toss! Sylar coming under the tier 4 towers. He's still beating in through the tower, but the damage output, he's still got the Aegis Immortal. The tower's going to end up triggering that one. The 4-star or not.
Oh,
it
they kill
actually
maybe.
exposes, maybe.
Alright, they've got Hex too. They've got Blink Hex on Bulldog if they want to keep fighting.
Bullock's too far back though. He'll have to 4-star and go for it. S4. RTK went for a point-blank range hook shot. Now they can actually toss RTK up and kill him off with the slows. You can blade mail up all you want, but he's still down for the count.
They didn't even need the Hex.
Instantly TP'd up towards the top lane. They haven't used Hex, and they haven't used Song of the Siren.
They didn't even need the Hex to kill Maybe. That is a big surprise for me. Just able to catch him, burst him down.
Dire's top tower
And
is under attack.
that's...
This could be a Rax at this point.
Yeah, they don't have the Aegis either. Like, SF has buyback. Maybe doesn't have buyback, actually. And he's dead for a full 50 seconds. If Alliance recognizes this and pushes in, this could be a full 2 sets of racks.
They could actually, they got a guaranteed one, because with Song of the Siren, they can just beat down the buildings while LGD sleep.
No, I think they're going to get both here. Guaranteed. I don't even know how Alliance does it.
Well, Sylar, Ice Path, the dual breath. He triggers the BKB again. Welcome to a 5-second duration on the BKB. Loda's still forcing him the top lanes. They're doing a 4-1 split, and then S4 comes to join him. That top range Rax is ticking down pretty quickly, while the mid one, they've already taken out the melee Rax. They're going for more. They've actually done it. They've taken 2 lanes of Raxus. They haven't used any major abilities. Maybe it's up in 12 seconds time, but Alliance is going to be long gone. They can Ice Path and keep the clockwork in, but Alliance are retreating. They've got 2 lanes of Raxus. They have crippled LGD's base. After LGD were the ones being the aggressors.
I mean, the Ember thought they were not even gonna. That wasn't even the realm of possibility for them to lose that fight. So he doesn't even have buyback available. He's like, oh, we got this. We're destroying them. They're holed up in their base. They're not willing to fight us. I don't need buyback. I can just continue to scale in items. And their fattest hero just goes down without anything, like, without a fight. And now we're in a position where somehow Alliance is in a really good position.
They, okay. So Arcade's now grabbing Ancient Creeps because he's got Nagadim Scepter. Loda can now buy the full heart. Maybe he won't make the same, take the same risk, but he's got 3,700 gold. It will not take him long to have buyback. That's a surplus. Have buyback as well as having the full heart. And they smoke up. Roshan's still not up for a potential 2 minutes. But Arcade's army is starting to group up, so they're even tankier now with that health increase from the Granite Column. Bulldog has 2k life. That's how do you even get through this now? You don't have enough damage. So LGD group up behind the lines. You do actually have your souls back up again for the SF. So that is one upside. I'm not even sure Alliance need to force this. Like,
they really don't have to. Like, Alliance have played this really well. What they've done is they've been incredibly patient. Even though they lose 3 fights in a row, they say, okay, it's not about the fights that matter. It's about the base. It doesn't matter what kills or what net worth you have, as long as you're able to hold on to your base. And they were. They constantly kept the split push going. Eventually, LGD, they slip up, getting a little bit too over-aggressive. Because LGD gets incredibly excited. They're like, oh, the Tiny is TP'd back. There's no split push going. This is our chance. They go up the high ground with the Aegis. Then S4 tosses the SF into their base. He loses the Aegis and somehow maybe goes down too. This is something that they can't afford to happen.
I don't understand how that can happen too. Like, maybe dying underneath the tier 3 tower, he just stood on the front lines and just took the damage from Alliance.
Yeah, I actually was just focusing on the SF. I didn't think there was...
I believe the damage just came out from the Tiny.
Yeah, I didn't think there was...
He got caught with his Flame Guard down.
He's got a 10-second BKB too, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was really weird.
But if Bulldog actually started that one off with the Yule Scepter, maybe that was how he did it. They took away the Flame Guard.
But again, he's BKB.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Roshan's up. That's a very quick spawn. 5 seconds. If they just send one illusion to search for this, they can have an Aegis Immortal as well as the cheese, because it will be the 3rd Roshan now. So they'll have all this extra survivability just to take out this bottom tower. Then again, they can just send illusions one up the other. Hello. Maybe. So low on life. He's going to go down. Tiny got the cleave. RTK's down as well. Maybe does have buyback, but S4 blinks in, and now that buyback comes into the Spirit with a Sleight of Fist, cleaning off most of the way, but the Ice Blast has no real effect. And now, well, Sylar, your BKB can pop with your Requiem of Souls. MMY's in there too, but they ensnare. They Ice Path with the dual breath. Sylar forced back out. The bottom lane has lost his tier 3 tower.
They're all still pretty healthy.
Again. He misses the avalanche. That could have been a quick kill onto Sylar. MMY wants to do more, but what can you really do? He's going to remove these Naga illusions.
They're so close to winning this game right now. The bottom tower's done. This is exposed Rex. I think Alliance should just reset. The Roshan is up for the taking.
They still have Song. Actually, no, Song's off cooldown 10 seconds, though.
Maybe also use the buyback for that fight. They still have the buyback available on the SF, but all it takes is one good engagement. If they kill maybe, even with the Shadow Fiend up, they can bum rush the throne, win the game. As long as they all have buyback, the game's done.
Alright, S4 coming into the pit, finally give the damage. Clockwork Rockets on the way out, and this is kind of it for LGD. This is the play. RTK look for the hook shot. They're going to smoke up, so this Naga illusion won't see enough, but the Ice Blast coming in, and
I think it does. He knows from the heal from Radiance. He knows from the heal from Radiance that they're coming in.
Hook shot misses. He's got another one in 10 seconds time, but Alliance, they back out early enough. They don't take enough damage from that Ice Blast.
When he sends the illusion up, the Radiance pings like a few times, and that's the illusion healing from the Octarine Core. And so he knows that they're smoked up. Like, that was really smart. That was really well done. They all started pinging like crazy as soon as the first illusion ran into them.
Alright, the attack will start again onto Roshan. The Clockwork Rocket Vision is still up though. If EGM was really serious about this, I'd say he'd use his weave. And he actually catches Sylar with that. If the Ice Path caught him as well, maybe it would have been a little bit more impressive, but Admiral Bulldog not using his Blink or Force Staff for that. And in they come. So the SF is currently at 8 armor, thanks to the negative effect of the weave. And Alliance will finish this job. Like, ROTK, do you want to? Like, Roshan's pretty low, and he does! He goes in, he kills it! He actually takes the Aegis Immortal! He'll die for the cause! The Ice Blast will catch most of them. They want to kill ROTK off. The Ice Path this down, so ROTK will most definitely die, but the Side of Fisting Ember Spirit comes in. Admiral Bulldog, he's going to pop EGM. That Shallow Grave won't last long enough. Loader trying to actually get himself out.
S4, he's going to go for the base.
Out. But S4, you're right, he's in the base. He's assaulting with the swings. The fortification is here, however. This will cancel the attack. He still has the cheese available, but at least allowed LGD to take their attention away from the rest of Alliance. So they're able to get most of their players out, apart from EGM.
Alright, so now they know the cliff is done. They're going to time that out. What a play by ROTK, saving that for them. The Aegis was definitely worth the snipe there. But LGD, they're still stuck in the similar position where if they lose one fight, the game is over. If they lose that Mega Creep, the game gets incredibly hard. But Tiny, he sees the DD rune. He might just wait. I think if Alliance just waits for him to grab the DD rune, he BKBs and blinks in. There's not a whole lot that they can do aside from throwing the clockwork at him.
He can't wait much longer though. Oh, that rune's only going to be there for another 50 seconds.
Yeah, it's a big rune though. That's why he leaves it. Should blink down, grab it.
Well, Loda's added the pressure to that bottom lane already.
It is so... It's just like 4 swings, and he's got it.
With this amount of money, he can almost buy the butterfly. In fact, what do we get?
No, he's going to get moon shards and end this game right now. I'm pretty sure all he has to do is pick up the moon shards, eat them, pick up the cheese, you grab the DD, you TP in to anywhere, and then just flat out assault. Like, your team can even space creep, because all you have to do is BKB, hit the racks, game's done.
He's walking in instead.
Yeah, that's fine. It accomplishes the same thing. All he has to do is get to the racks before ROTK catches him.
With no glyph, they're going to try it.
Yeah, he's trying not to show. He's hiding behind the rest of his team. He just has to flat out bum rush it as soon as they get into the base.
Well, they see Sylar. Do they go for him? Yep, there they go. Song of the Siren. And this is the cover fire. The Alliance cover fire. S4 can beat the racks while the rest of LGD are caught napping. And now S4 triggers the BKB. They run away. They got the Megas. RTK will hookshot himself down. They'll catch out EGM. But Admiral Bulldog, you want to help here? No, just let EGM die and get the hell out of Dodge. The DD is worn off. And ROTK, he's hoping for some kind of pick, but S4's TP'd out. The tier 4 towers are under attack. They have to come back and defend. I think I just heard another BKB pop. It was maybe...
Alright, now LGD are on a complete timer because if they leave their base, then they'll get split push. Loda can do this all day for the next hour if he wants. And I don't know if they can hold something like this. This is just...
It seems impossible. But you're still playing with an Ember Spirit. Like, an Ember Spirit can clean up waves, so can the SF, the hookshot initiation. Like, if you can catch Alliance out, maybe the chances are there. With the buybacks, though, like, you need to find multiple chances. One is not enough.
Yeah, I think this game is still winnable for LGD just because of the heroes that they have and the way that they've itemized. But any mistake at this point ends the game. Like, their supports can't handle this. The Clockwork can't either. I think the Ember Spirit just stays behind, defends, while the rest of them push, and they go for an all-out siege. Maybe you're in that position now.
LGD, here they come. They caught a glimpse of S4 with the Dire Observable, which is up on top of the hillside here. But they've lost that glimpse. And these illusions keep coming in. They're just never-ending spree from Loda.
Yeah.
He didn't actually buy the butterfly. He bought the quarterstaff originally. Like, okay... Loda has changed his mind multiple times on the item he's buying. So he's now bought entire Skadi. Is sitting on the courier back at base. He's also got the quarterstaff to start the butterfly up. Okay, Loda's been sent back, and he'll BT back again. So there it is. The Skadi is done. And he actually BT's down to the bottom lane. They've still got Mega, so it doesn't matter what lane they come in. It's just catching LGD out of position.
Yeah. LGD kind of out of options right now. Maybe if Alliance mess up, overextend, buyback like crazy, and then die again, LGD can do this. They do have buyback on all their cores. The Ember Spirit's about to have his up in just 10 seconds. He's probably going to go for a Rapier at some point too when he's got the money for it.
That's probably the reason why the courier's there, but
Sylar can't afford to die.
He turns on the Satanic, Sign of Life still out of S4. They force off away, the Ice Blast will be completely ineffective. And now Song of the Siren. The BKB is down for Sylar, is still there for Maybe, however. But who do they want to initiate on both Maybe and RTK? Maybe gets the BKB off, turns on the S4. The Sleight of Fist not doing that much damage, but RTK burns in the Macro Pyre. MMY being isolated. They move forward towards the Tier 4 towers and maybe towards the WCA victory. DDC will fall, and this is Alliance beating through the buildings. S4's actually sent back to base. And now will BT himself back forward again. The Divine Rapier is here, and this is the all-in. He bought it, but it's not on Maybe. He goes for the Sleight of Fist, but the damage isn't even there. The Courier is even killed, and the Rapier is dropped on the ground. That's the game right there. There's no way to come back from this for LGD. Alliance will take out the grand final. 3 games to 2. They won the first 2. They played the hard road, but they will still get here. LGD even fortified.